talk everything HCG. I'm going to give you a full rundown and try to give you the basics in the shortest amount of time in the easiest way possible. Now, I'm going to do several other HCG videos, but this is just a complete overview and rundown. HCG is a polypeptide hormone. It was first discovered a little bit before World War II by a company called Organon, and it was sold under the brand name Pregnal, as many of you know. It was sold to treat female infertility, depression, obesity, and bleeding of the uterus. Now, as time went on, drug companies found out a way to produce HCG synthetically. So, like in the modern era now, it's used to treat low testosterone, infertility in both men and women, and it also to treat genital defects, including the testicles. Now, in addition, many of you are familiar with the HCG diet, and a lot of different clinics have used it for that aspect as well. So, where does it come from? So, in the early stages of pregnancy, HCG is actually created within the placenta. It plays a major role in progesterone production, which is a very important female hormone. If you've ever had a pregnancy scare, then you probably purchased one of those at-home pregnancy tests, which you then utilize. You pee on a stick and things like that. If traces are found, then this is an indicator of pregnancy, and I'm talking traces of HCG. And after 2 to 3 months, the levels are going to slowly start to dip and get a little bit lower until the female actually gives birth. Let's talk about the bodybuilding uses, which is probably why most of you are here. So, those in the fitness industry have found a way to utilize HCG. All right. So let's talk about it in regards to like the flu shot. So if you get a flu shot, your body's getting vaccinated, right? And it sees the virus, and then it assumes that you have the flu. It then reacts accordingly by stimulating the immune system, which then prepares you for the upcoming flu season. So with HCG, it works like this in the body, except it's mimicking your luteinizing hormone, or your LH, as the body thinks they are the same thing. So when this happens, your Leydig cells, or your testes, then react by becoming stimulated. So this is why your testicles grow when you use it. It's quite simple, actually. The result is your testosterone levels are then going to rise. This is useful on an anabolic steroid cycle, clearly, because you can keep your testicles bigger or more plump instead of shriveling into little raisins or BBs like a lot of people have happen. And then coming off a steroid cycle, you're going to feel better because you had a rise in testosterone. Now, let's talk about the dosage. HCG typically comes in 5,000 IU ampules as like a white powdery substance. Then you have to reconstitute it carefully by mixing in bacteriostatic water or sodium chloride water. After doing this, you've got to store it in the refrigerator, and you're going to get a good 30 to 60 days out of it before it's no good. The injection is typically done subcutaneously within the stomach fat with an insulin needle. Typical dosages can vary. I've seen a lot of different doses used. I generally recommend between 1,000 to 2,000 IUs a week. I see people blasting way more than that. It's completely unnecessary. There's no reason to overdo it. HCG does work, but it doesn't take a lot to work. You don't need 5,000 IUs a week and things of that nature. And you don't need to run it for, I've seen people running it all year round at times. That is not the case of necessity here with HCG. I also do not recommend using HCG in your post-cycle therapy, all right? I'm going to do an entire video on that, but basically, and while I'm going to get into the side effects now, so I'll just cover it that way. HCG is going to use or cause some mild suppression, all right, because it's a hormone. That means it will gradually start desensitizing your pituitary gland since it's mimicking our luteinizing hormone. This is why you should never abuse it or use it during post-cycle therapy, all right? Because if you want your HPTA to fully recover, which is your hypothalamus pituitary testes axis, all right, then you don't want to be mimicking the LH the whole time, because once you stop, your body's going to forget to produce it on its own. So you got to be careful how you use it. You want to use it in the right way. I always recommend using it the last 4 weeks of your cycle minimum, right leading into PCT. It gives you that nice boost leading into PCT, and then you jumpstart your natural testosterone production with Clomid, Novadex, and a full PCT, which I've covered several times. HCG absolutely has a place for everybody to use, but it needs to be used in the right way. When you're using it on TRT, for example, I have a recommendation that I give to people, and that is using it 4 weeks at a time, every 3 to 4 months at 1,000 IUs a week. That is plenty while you're on TRT, in my opinion. Everybody's different. You do it however you like. However, I recommend using it that way. Now, I'm going to do a video on the HCG diet, as I was talking about. It was originally proposed by a British doctor in the 1950s as a way to fight obesity, and has since been parroted by so many different so-called fitness gurus like Kevin Trudeau, for example, who really don't even know what they're talking about. But basically, it involves injecting HCG while reducing calories to an extremely low amount, sometimes only 500 calories a day, which is just not smart. According to the Mayo Clinic, it's never been actually proven for weight loss, and they warn users to beware of such claims. I'm not going to get into all that right now. That's debatable, and everybody's going to have their opinion, and that's all well and good. I'm just trying to give you facts on what's out there, what you can read, and what you can see. All right. You got to be careful too about scams with this. Don't be taking HCG in over-the-counter or pill form. Real HCG can be purchased online in its lyophilized powder form. The typical cost is not very much for what you get, 5,000 IUs. It ranges differently, anywhere from, depending on what kind of brand you're getting and everything. You can get a really good quality brand for like, $40 to $50 per vial, sometimes 60, depending on where you're getting it. If you're seeing it for extremely high cost, like $200 a vial, that better be some platinum stuff that you're using. But just be careful, trusted sources only, as I've always said.